say the musical industry is a very evil place. There is no better expression of this than what happened to Mindless Behavior. You guys remember what happened to Mindless Behavior, right? Mindless Behavior, you know, in 2011, those guys. I gotta see her, travel all across the world just to meet her. Yeah, them. Now, what happened to them has to be studied because it was really, really messed up. Now, let's start. Go back a bit. You see these four boys, Rock Royale, Prodigy, my boy, Ray Ray, and Preston. Now, they started in their teenage years, which is very, very important. You see, they were scouted by these guys, Walter and Albert. I'm going to put their pictures right here. Yeah, this one's over here. They were scouted by them. And you will think, oh, these boys have talent, it's going to be making sense and all that stuff. No, these guys came to explore. You see, first of all, they took them for like 2 years for vocal training and all the dance training and all that stuff. And then they brought it before them, the contract. They were like, bam, yeah, Princeton, Ray Ray, Prodigy. How about you sign this contract over here? We're going to make you guys famous. And Prodigy looked at Princeton and Princeton looked at Ray Ray and they looked at each other like, oh my God, we're about to become famous. Hell yeah, we'll sign the contract. Now, careful, they were teenagers at the time. And because these people had very special upbringing, they were not aware of certain clauses in this contract. I'm going to come back to that a little bit because it's very, very important for this story. Now, 2011, they released their first song. Oh my God. Mrs. Right, oh Lord. My girl, you know, see, these songs were blowing everywhere and girls loved them so much. They were like, oh my God, Pristy, Ray Ray, give me some of that. However, these boys were actually suffering far more than we thought they were because they were not getting royalties from all the shows they were attending and all the songs and all that. All of the cash was going to these guys, yeah, Walter and Albert. Actually, they left them with was little money for, you know, buying games, buying clothes, and, you know, anything to distract the teenage mind. And honestly, it worked. It worked for a while until Prodigy, yeah, their lead vocalist, yeah, he thought of it and was like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be getting more than this. And so he walked up to Walter and was like, yo, Walter, yeah, my guy, come over here, let's talk a bit. What's going on with our, you know, royalties and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, we're supposed to be making more money and all that stuff. And Walter was like, yeah, about the funds. Why don't you just go play games or something? Just go say hi to the fan girls and all that stuff. And Prodigy was like, no, I want to know where my money at. Yeah, I'm serious. I want to know where my money at. And then Walter was like, oh, your money? You really want to know where your money at? Okay, I will show you where your money at. Yeah, do you remember this? Bam! He dropped the contract on the table. Now read that close. What does it say? Prodigy was like, yeah, it says here that you own my, you own all my music and my identity. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. You see, without them knowing, in that contract, they had sold not just their music or rights to it in general, they had also sold their identity, meaning that their parents' company could do whatsoever they wanted with their identity. Think of it, they could sell merchandise in their names, t-shirts, pens, and just remember that, like I said, they were crazy with teenage girls that time, and they were loving them. This black boy band that was just ruling the world. You know, they were going on tours with Justin Bieber. They opened the show one time for Janet Jackson. They were top of the world, and they even came to Ellen DeGeneres show. You know, that kind of thing. And so they were selling out, and all of the money was going to this guy. Prodigy was like, you know what, I'm going to go tell the others. I'm going to tell Ray Ray, I'm going to tell Pristine, and I'm going to tell Rock Royale. Yeah, I'm very sure my boys got my back. However, when they went to meet them, I was like, yo, Rock Royale, guess what? They said they have our identity. Yeah, bro, come with me, let's go fight against them. And Rock Royale was like, yeah, they told us you're cuckoo, yeah. They said you're crazy, that you're a psychopath. Yeah, just because you're the lead vocalist, yeah, you're an asshole. Yeah, and Prodigy was like, what? Me? When did that happen? And so he went back to meet Walter. I was like, yo, Walter, I didn't say things about my teammates like that. Why would they think? And Walter was like, boy, you don't know? Oh, let me tell you what is happening here. You see, your other teammates, because you are the lead vocalist, they don't like you very much. Yeah, they think you're going to leave the group and then you're going to go solo. So because of that, they hit your ass. Yeah, they call you names. Yeah, they say you stingy, you greedy, you a sociopath, and all those kind of things. Trust me, boy. In fact, you know what? Forget about them. Why don't you take the week off? And then Prodigy was like, really? It was like, yeah, take the week off. And then it was like, oh, okay. And so Prodigy took the week off. And then Walter went back to go meet Rock Royale, Ray Ray, and was like, yo, you guys, you remember we told you, yeah, that Prodigy is crazy, yeah? Yeah, he thinks all of you are below him. Yeah, he's done it again. You see, he's not going to come for practice throughout this week. And you're like, oh my God, it's true. He actually did not come for practice throughout this week. You see what was happening here? producers, you see, Walter and Albert, starting to make this team fight within each other, put the boys against each other so that nobody comes to fight for their royalties, for their right, man. Remember, these guys were already making money off their identity and their music. And along the line, the working environment only got more toxic and Prodigy could not take it again. It was like, you know what? Screw this, I'm out. And then in 2014, Prodigy left the team. All of a sudden, fan girls were like, oh my God, without Prodigy, Mindless behavior is no Mindless behavior, because they were like, no, we love him, we love him, we love him. And Walter and Albert, they were like, oh, Prodigy, you think you have a nice one on us? Oh, you've forgotten. Yeah, we own this shit here. We own it. And immediately they brought this other guy, EJ, Elijah Johnson, to take over Prodigy's position. However, this made Rock Royale, Princeton, and Ray Ray be like, what? We've been in this group for so long. Why don't we get a lead vocalist from one of us? Like, what's going on? What's going on, Walter? What's going on, Albert? And they're like, yeah, you guys, yeah. Shh. We own Mindless behavior, so you do whatever we say. And we're like, oh, but, shh. And so EJ took over as the lead singer. However, a lot of fans were still a bit skeptical about it, and they were like, they did not really want this and all. Yeah. And then one by one, other members of the group started to have issues. One became a baby daddy. One of them had a case with the law and this and that. And at the end of the day, they had no choice but to eventually disband. However, the seed of discord was already planted in the hearts of these boys. And so they did not know that Walter and Albert had been putting them against each other until years later when Prodigy came out and he spoke about the very toxic work environment, in the industry and all that stuff. And even till this day, that company still makes money off them from Spotify and all that stuff. And at the end of the day, these guys, they're left with nothing. I'm serious. Like, they went back to working hours in warehouses. The same boys that sold stadiums, sold concerts, and like I said, met Ellen DeGeneres and all that stuff. They were making a lot of money and they're left with absolutely nothing. Be careful about the music industry, guys. Do not sell your rights. Make sure to subscribe. And make sure to subscribe and follow. Yeah.